That's the old us. And we don't want the old us. The old partisanship versus partnership. When we say, well, there we go, doing that thing again, and not, there you go again. And it's time for another unbuckled, bumpy ride with your guide, the stark raving LEAN-atic himself. I'm Jim. Let's jump right in again. Welcome to my podcast based on my brand new book, available on Amazon, Live Life Lean, L-E-A-N. It's a year-long guide to gratitude and our daily grind. The book that combines some timeless wisdom from a whole lot of the world's wiser people with the reflections, reactions, and wisecracks of the guide's author, me. And it guides you, the reader, through the simplest system for a happy, healthy, authentic, and genuinely grateful everyday experience. I urge you to get the book. Of course I do. I wrote it. It's either at Amazon or at my website, ampurage.com. A-M-M-P-U-R-A-G-E. But even without it, let's make next week better than last, our next year better than the past, and get started now with today's episode of old Tom Hanks movie called That Thing You Do. My wife corrected me on the title the other day, which kind of reminded me of it. That Thing You Do. And honestly, we so many times think that way, speak that way, and project that way about that thing you do, and not that thing we do. What do I mean? All right, let's not name names here. Instead, let's just call our two example participants as, say, Mr. Potato Head and Mrs. Potato Head. Because they share more than just their last names, and they share more than their interchangeable and exchangeable body parts. They share involvement and responsibility whenever they do that thing they do. What is that thing? Got your mind racing, don't I? All right, so here we go. In one corner, here we have Mr. Potato Head, and in the other, Mrs. Potato Head, and a 10-round interaction, exchange, discussion, disagreement that they've had countless times before. He likes things done a certain way. Doesn't matter what the things are or what the way is. The key here is that Mr. Potato Head likes things how he likes things. Sound like anyone you know? Okay, and Mrs. Potato Head, well, she does things differently. Doesn't matter that the Mr. has expressed time and again his alternate preferences, but it's not like Mrs. Potato Head deliberately does it different for the purpose of frying his taters and toasting his tots. It's just that she doesn't think it's that big a deal. Matter of fact, seems like whenever Mr. P. Head protests and says, well, why do you always do that thing you do? Mrs. P. Head responds with, that it's no big deal, and don't make such a thing out of it. And now the downward spiral cut begins for our befuddled spuds. So this whole thing gets under his potato skin, and when she seems to treat it like it's small potatoes, he just boils with French fried frustration. She, on the other hand, thinks that he's going off all half-cocked. Suddenly, these two taters are teetering on feeling burnt to a crisp, telling each other to chip up or chip out, and seemingly never rooting out the real problem. And that's a sorry place to settle for. Really, it's a very sorry place. I've been there. But here, suddenly, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head remembered they had more in common than they'd been playing with. And with some interchangeable parts, literally and figuratively, they interchanged their parts. Now don't go all dirty-minded potato porn on me here. By interchanging their parts, they swapped out their roles. They just exchanged their yous and their I's for some we's and some us's. They promised to never be the first one to say, that thing you do, and instead say, that thing we do. And changing to we from you was actually true, once they realized that when her actions bothered him, he could choose his own RSVP. And when his actions had no appeal to her, she could choose her choice to not go sour, but instead let the cream rise to the top. Getting to an agreement state that you're grateful for may not be made all microwave fast. But seriously, they didn't have to actually swap body parts and experience that reality from the other's perspective. But hey, they were potato heads, so they could have swapped like eyes, and ears, and legs, and even feet to walk a mile in the other's shoes, for a better understanding and an ability to relate. But no, they knew the old potato way could end up just getting their feelings sliced, diced, chopped, and cropped, tossed into the feelings fryer, and it's not like those parts of him and her would go to separate corners of the bag of fries and say, "You see all the trouble of how that thing you do got us into?" No. They just teamed up and claimed the us. And thus, they went from being all for one to becoming a twofer. That famous mantra that I've singled out before, it works well as a duo too. We can change. We will change. Where we don't know how, we will help each other learn and do it together. All right. That was all-righta. Enough potato pun punishment here. The main point in here is that to see with another's eyes, to hear through another's ears, and to walk a mile in another's shoes, it cannot be undertaken by someone who's acting like a small fry. It requires partnership, not partisanship. So that thing you do becomes that thing we do, and doesn't wedge its way back in and keep us from saying, "Hey, that's the old us. We don't want to be the old us." Am I right, Caroline? My little sweet potato. And now, more words of wisdom to wow your socks off from the Live Life Lean Guide itself. Entry number 63. It is never too late to be what you might have been. Mary Ann Evans. And the guide's point of view on this? Okay, what about if what I might have been was on time? Is it too late now? Using the Live Life Lean Guided system. What do you think about this? What have you learned recently that's new? What have you earned, or what are you working to earn that's not just given to you? Where have you added to the world that wasn't just about you? I'd be grateful for this. Reflect on it, respect it, and navigate somewhere next. Thank you for listening. I hope you're enjoying your copy of the Live Life Lean, LEAN guide. Enjoying it almost as much as I did creating it. And if you don't have a copy yet, go on over to amperage.com or Amazon and get started today experiencing the amazing power of knowing every day is literally yours to be grateful about, and you need never feel unfulfilled again. I'm Jim Hall, and until next time, good health, God bless, and now go get a little dirty learning something new, earning what's not given to you, adding to this crazy world that we share, and navigating your way to something new and next.